Thank you very much. Now we will go to Simon Ateba from Today's News Africa. Simon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for taking my question. My name is Simon Ateba from Today News Africa, and my question is on Africa, not just Sub Saharan Africa. We know that the cases have escalated in the past few days. We have almost 1,000 deaths now. We have more than 17,000 cases. So is there anything that we can do in Sub Saharan Africa at this moment that containment seems to have failed? And if I can quickly add something also, here in the US, we have in the past 72 hours, we've had 11,000 deaths. We've had almost 100,000 new infections. At the same time, we hear authorities saying we are almost reaching the peak. So my question is, when can countries know that the peak is close or has been reached? Thank you.
Dr. Tedros may wish to speak to his, he did speak in his speech to his engagements with the African Union and leaders across Africa, which have been very intense. I know our regional director for Africa, Chidi Moeti, has been deeply involved, as have our teams. We have mounted, I think, 38 surge team support missions, in addition to the presence of WHO in every country in Sub-Saharan Africa, at every country on the African continent. Actually, we have mounted 38 surge missions in Sub-Saharan Africa. You will have heard that have sent now, I think, the third shipment of supplies through the Solidarity flights in collaboration with the African Union, with Africa CDC, with Jack Ma Foundation, and with the World Food Programme. So supplies are reaching countries in Africa in growing amounts. The DG referred to the fact that all African countries now have the capacity to test. Some countries, like South Africa, Kenya, and others, are developing high-throughput diagnostic capacity. And can congratulate Kenya on being able to implement that extremely quickly. And there are very good reference facilities and reference labs on the African continent at NIC and CD in South Africa, at Institut Pasteur in Senegal, at Kemri in Kenya, Uvri in Uganda. So there are real capacities across Africa to do the job that needs to be done. There's a deep history of containing epidemics, a very strong polio program across Africa. Now, there are the advantages that Africa has, but there are constraints, and you're absolutely correct. These are difficult, this is a difficult disease to contain. Not on camera is our Assistant Director General, Dr. Sosef Fa, who spent most of the last year and a half in the front lines fighting Ebola. As I've said previously, in Ebola, in the peak of the epidemic there, we were tracing 25,000 contacts a day, effectively in the middle of a shooting war, and to the great testament to the bravery, courage, professionalism of Congolese frontline professionals. So I believe that African countries can achieve much more than maybe people from outside expect, but African countries need support, they need resources, they need solidarity, they need supplies, and they need the transfers of technology and knowledge that will allow them to take the fight to the virus. And I believe many countries in Africa are doing that. And we don't believe that at this point the disease has passed the capacity to be contained. We believe a lot can be done to mitigate the impact of the virus. And we believe that we need to accelerate those efforts as the number of cases grows on a daily basis on the continent. Like with all our member states, we will stand with African countries and stand on the front line and fight the virus together. But the DG may have some comments to make at this point. No.
If I might add, I wanted to just touch upon something that you said when you talked about containment and that it was no longer possible. I just want to echo something that Mike said. Containment is possible. Containment is possible of this COVID-19 virus. We have seen in a number of countries now, not just in Asia, in a number of countries across Europe, that we're facing this horrible outbreak where they brought it under control. And Africa has an incredible resilience that Mike has outlined in terms of its ability to fight infectious diseases and to mount a response, to find cases, to care for cases, to engage communities and build up communities and empower communities to be able to fight this. And so I was a little worried in what you said. I don't want you to lose hope. Containment is possible. It's going to be a hard fight. But we are here, and our African regional office is there, and our country offices are there, and the whole world wants to help. We need to do more. We need to empower everyone with the ability to test and to find cases, to have treatment centers available so that people can be cared for appropriately, to make sure that we practice physical distancing, to be able to have hand washing stations where we don't have running water. There's a lot that we can do, and I just wanted to highlight that containment is possible. This virus is containable.